Hello and welcome to a very quick video to say congratulations to Maria, who came up with the winning entry to make or have our own kitchen witch incense. A little while ago, one of the other students said about having an incense specifically for kitchen witch as a coven, which we thought was a brilliant idea. And Sue suggested, our Sue, that rather than just the four of us coming up with one, why didn't we open it up and have it as a competition for students? Which is what we did. And we got some absolutely fabulous entries. It was really, really difficult to come to a decision. However, each of us, the four of us, so Rachel, Sue, Ness and myself, went through them separately on our own. And Rachel was the only person who knew whose name went with whose. So when we actually came together, the four of us, there was one incense that all of us had picked. And obviously that was the one that got picked, and it was Maria's. So well done, Maria. Thank you very much. It is a lovely incense. So it is in the written blog, and there is also a link in the written blog to Sue's blog, which has got the whole list of the incenses that people suggested. So all the suggestions are there. So if you want to try any of the others, or you want to use the others as inspiration, they are all there, because they were, all of them, absolutely. Some of the ideas are just absolutely amazing. But this is the one that won. This is Maria's recipe. So she said 1 tablespoon of resin, and she'd chosen frankincense, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of cloves, or 1 to 2 whole cloves crushed, or 1 to 2 cardamom pods lightly crushed, and a teaspoon of rosemary just to add a bit of sweetness to it. So all perfect kitchen witch ingredients, everything that you would possibly have in your cupboard, or have moved out of your food cupboard into your other cupboard where they've gone out of date, because I'm forever doing that, especially when I looked at the date on the cardamom pods. I can't remember what it said now. What did it say? 2018. So that was already outside, by the way. But yeah, cloves. I get through a lot of cloves. So I've always got loads of these. Oh, just love the smell of these. Nutmeg. So, making up the incense. Now, I don't actually burn incense in the house because I've got 2 asthmatics. But I am going to make it up, because what I do use is out in the back garden. I have some charcoal discs, and I actually do light my incense out in the garden when I'm feeling like it. Sometimes it's actually just to say, hello garden, you're doing really nicely. Sometimes it's because I've got other things going on, or I'm doing something else, or I'm thinking about something else, I'm working on something else. But yeah, that's where I would normally burn my incense. So I am going to make some more up, because obviously I did make this up and try it. So I'm now going to make some more. Now, the other thing that I do indoors, and I can't remember it, Rachel's got a blog on burning incense without smoke, and basically use an oil burner. So for that, what I would do is, so for anybody like me that can't use it indoors but wants to have that aroma indoors, my suggestion, what I've found works best for me, is that you crush it right down. So all of the ingredients. So to do that, I actually have an old coffee grinder, electric one, that I just use for that purpose, because obviously I wouldn't want to use it for food or anything when I've used it for magical purposes and put all sorts of things through it, which might not be actually edible. But anyway, so yeah, if you wanted to actually use it in the house but can't use it like me with smoke, then to get the aroma, the real flavors and the real aromas to come out, I've found that with incenses, even the bought ones, it's better to actually grind them right down to a powder. You do get some of the aroma if you don't, but it's just been with me trial and error, because I knew that these incenses smelt stronger because I'd burnt them outside, and then I'd burn them inside and think, actually, that's not giving me the same sense, the same energy. So I played around, crushed it a bit in my pestle and mortar, which is the one. This is the one that is just used for incenses. Found that helped a bit, and then thought, well, actually, I'll just try completely. So put some couple of teaspoons in my coffee grinder, and actually that gives me a better effect. So yeah, so that's it. So get on to this one before I waffle too much. So with the, and like I said, all of the things that I'm using, all of my spoons, my pestle and mortar, my jars, are all kept separate, because not all ingredients that you would use in an incense are things that are safe to ingest. So it's better to keep everything separate, I think. So 1 tablespoon of frankincense. Don't think you'll be able to see this very clearly, but yeah, that's my little jar of frankincense resin, and it's literally absolutely tiny. But yeah, now this, because I am going to be burning it outside, I'm not going to grind it in my pestle and mortar, because this particular batch that I've got is quite small. I think that's probably about the largest bit I'm going to find. I don't want to grind it up any smaller than that, because the smaller you grind it, the quicker it will burn. So I think that at the moment that's about the right size for me. Depends on your batch and where you get it from, what sort of, whether you want it to burn quickly or not. So then you've got a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, obviously I'm cheating, as you can tell. I'm actually just getting that out of there. Just cinnamon. You could use cinnamon and spend ages in your pestle and mortar. I prefer to use those for other bits and pieces. So yeah, but if that's all you've got, then that will work. And nutmeg. This will take a little bit longer because I need to. Forgot to get that out, didn't I? Shows it's live. And I need to. Sorry about the noise. Grate this. And again, Maria's said about a teaspoon. Fortunately, nutmeg does grate quite quickly, which is quite a bonus. As I say, I do apologise about the noise. Oh, that was a good guess. Excellent. And yeah, that is how I cook too, I guess. Which isn't always the right thing to do, but hello. And cloves. So 1 to 2 we're going to have in there. So I'm going to put in 2, because as I said, I love cloves. And cardamom pods, lightly crushed. 1 to 2 of those. Again, sorry about the noise, but this is me making it up, so Yeah, I don't remember that smelling like that when I made it up last time. That's nice. Make sure you get all the bits out. Oh, smelling so good. And then your teaspoon of rosemary, just to add the sweetness. So I'm literally just breaking off. I'm not measuring it. It says a teaspoon. Yes. I'm literally just pulling the leaves off. Oh, God. If you could smell this, give it a shake. Oh, that is just absolutely beautiful. And obviously then you leave it for a day or two to marinate together. I'd say that making it up in small, you can see that that's about 1/4 to 1/3 of a jar, small jar. What's the size of the jar? 60 grams. I'd say making up in smaller doses, smaller batches, would be the way I would go forward. One, because I don't burn that much. If you burn a lot, then obviously you want to increase the sizes, which is why I showed you how much. So you could actually possibly times the recipe by 4, and that, I think that would still fit in there quite nicely. But I think it's nice made up fresh. I think it's made, the first batch I made up, each one that I made up, it was the same intent for each of them, which is guide me as to whether this is the winner. This one I've obviously just made up so that you can see it made up, see how much it comes to, so that you can decide whether you want to make that amount or whether you would prefer to make a bigger batch. But yeah, I haven't actually put any intent in there yet. I will do that in a minute off screen. I hope this has been useful for you. And as I say again, congratulations, Maria. It really is beautiful. Even freshly made, the smell is absolutely delightful. It burns really well. Oh, just another aside, if you haven't actually got any resin, because you might not have, you could actually, instead of using the rosemary leaves, you could use the rosemary stem dried, because that will make it last longer. Anything woody helps to make it last longer, the same as resins do. So you could, if you haven't actually got any resin, it's not the end of the world. You can just adapt and use the stems from rosemary. There you go. See you next time.